There was a time when I couldn't walk past pain without wanting to fix it. A bruised bird, a wounded heart, a tired soul. If it could fit in my hands or in a metaphorical box, I would try to heal it, not out of obligation, but out of instinct. I was the rescuer. Because I'm a dreamer, an idealist, I see the world as a place filled with potential, not brokenness, where the glass is not just half full, but waiting to overflow. That's always been my orientation, so it felt only natural to reach into the chaos and try to bring order, to reach into someone else's sorrow and try to offer light, to put my body, my time, my spirit on the line. If it meant helping someone else breathe easier. What I didn't know then was that rescuing others often distracted me from saving myself, from sitting with my own darkness, my own unmet needs, my own forgotten dreams. There was a time when I thought sacrifice meant love, that the more I gave up for someone, the more I was proving how real it was. I would lose sleep. I would let my boundaries blur like ink in water. I would put everyone's emergency ahead of my own heartbeat. It wasn't just compassion, it was compulsion, and it drained me. There's a word I came across in the writings of Melody Beattie, the pioneer of codependency work. She writes, "Rescuing and caretaking don't help anyone, they prevent others from growing up." That landed like a whisper and a slap at the same time. Because what if helping isn't always helpful? What if stepping in is sometimes a form of interference? Over time, I realized my good intentions could keep others from facing their truth. My fixing could become their escape. What I thought was compassion was sometimes control in disguise, and what I thought was love was often a fear of being unneeded, unchosen. I had to learn what real service looked like, and it wasn't throwing myself into other people's fires. It was standing at the edge of the flames, offering water, but only if they asked, because growth cannot be forced. Clarity cannot be gifted. The awakening only happens from within. As Rumi said, try not to resist the changes that come your way. Instead, let life live through you. And sometimes, letting life live through someone else means not stepping in to rearrange their path, even if it looks like they're walking toward a cliff. These were not easy truths, but they became the foundation of something deeper, the quiet work of choosing me, not out of ego, but out of survival. Because the more I bled for others, the more I was fading from my own life. It's easy to show up for strangers, to give when there's no history, to be generous when the expectations are light. But what happens when the challenge isn't outside of us, but in the people we love the most? What happens when our values no longer match the values of those closest to us? I've struggled most in my intimate circle, with those I've chosen to share my life with. When what I believed felt foreign to them, when my vision of truth clashed with theirs, when love itself became a battlefield of difference. And yet, I stayed, not because I had to, but because I chose to. Out of love, out of loyalty, out of hope, but also out of habit. I held on to people long after the connection stopped feeling like a sacred meeting. I wanted something different for them. I could see who they could be. Their potential lit up in my mind like a sunrise they couldn't see yet. And I thought, maybe if I just held on long enough, maybe they'd see it too. But I've learned, painfully, that wanting something for someone isn't the same as letting them want it for themselves. That my love doesn't give me the right to redesign their journey, and that imposing my dreams onto someone else's soul is a form of spiritual trespass. As philosopher Khalil Gibran once said, "You may give them your love, but not your thoughts, for they have their own thoughts." So I had to pull back. I had to breathe big, like I was expanding my chest just to hold the tension of letting go. To sit beside someone I love and not fix them, not change them, not mourn what they're not, just to witness them and let them walk, even if their road leads away from mine. There's a sacred violence in that kind of surrender, a quiet heartbreak in choosing not to interfere, because love, real love, is not possession. It is not control. It is not a contract of transformation. Love is recognition without resistance. It's a deep bow to another person's timeline, to their pace, their path, their pain. As I grew, I began to see that not every love is meant to be harmonious. Not every connection is meant to last forever. And not every mismatch is a failure. Sometimes it's just life showing you that your evolution requires release. That honoring yourself might mean disappointing others. And that's okay. Because choosing me, truly choosing me, means I no longer have to twist myself into shapes to make someone else feel safe. It means I stop shrinking to fit spaces I've outgrown. We each hold our own thread. And I don't know what yours is. I can't pretend to know the assignment your soul came here to complete. That's your mystery to unfold. All I can do is respect it. All I can offer is space. What if I told you you are not meant to stay the same? That who you were last year, last month, even yesterday, is not who you are required to be today. You are not a statue. You are not a frozen version of yourself for others to memorize. You are fluid, like water, meant to shift, to reform, to reshape until you feel right in your own skin. It's your right to mold, to remold, and to keep remolding your world and your life until it fits your form. Not the form others handed you, not the version of yourself that earned their approval, but the version that makes you breathe deeper, the one that lets you sleep at night, the one that doesn't flinch under your own gaze. So many of us were taught the opposite, to be good, to be agreeable, to not make too many waves. But here's the truth. You were not born to make others comfortable. You were born to become whole, and wholeness is a moving target. It evolves as you do. I used to shapeshift, to fit what was given to me, to force myself into the boxes life handed me. But now, I choose to reshape life to fit me. And it's not always easy. Change never is. There's grief in leaving behind the roles we used to play. There's mourning in becoming. But the alternative? Staying small, staying known, staying safe, but dying inside. No thank you. And so, I remake my life. One quiet decision at a time. One brave number, one terrified yes, one breath of truth. I rewrite the script. If something doesn't work, I change it. And if it still doesn't work, I change it again and again until it fits. Because I am not here to live a life that feels foreign in my own bones. I'm here to live a life that feels like mine. Do you know what happens inside a chrysalis? The caterpillar dissolves. Not partially, fully. It liquefies, eating itself from the inside, until only imaginal cells remain. The blueprint of the butterfly. And from those, new life is formed. The caterpillar never knew it would fly, but it trusted the darkness. It surrendered to the transformation, even when it didn't understand it. So must we. Sometimes we have to let parts of ourselves die, not because they were wrong, but because they're no longer true. Sometimes growth requires the ending of identities we've outworn. As spiritual teacher Michael Beckwith says, pain pushes until vision pulls. And once the vision pulls, you'll know you were always meant to be more. I used to search for home in people, in arms that felt warm, in voices that soothed, in eyes that mirrored what I hoped to believe about myself. But the truth I discovered was hard and holy. Home is not a place. Home is not a person. Home is a self-returned to. Real self-love is not loud. It's not the curated affirmations taped to mirrors, not the baths and candles and filtered self-care reels. It's quieter. It's deeper. It's the moment you say, I will not abandon myself, not anymore, no matter how uncomfortable it gets, no matter who leaves, no matter how many tears I shed when I'm alone. To love yourself is to hold the inner child who once begged others for approval and whisper, you don't have to perform anymore. You are safe now. You are mine. It's to stop running, to stop editing yourself for the audience, to stop negotiating your worth. It's to sit with the mess, to meet your own gaze without flinching, to say yes to yourself even when the world around you says no. True self-love is not a feeling, it's a choice. One you make every morning before the mirror fog clears, every night when the loneliness creeps in. It's a sacred vow. I will not betray myself to belong. When you start choosing yourself, people will notice. Some will call it selfish, some will call it ego, some will accuse you of being different, difficult, distant. Let them. Because you are no longer sacrificing your peace for their comfort, no longer shrinking to fit their story of you. You're writing your own story now, and it begins with this line, I am enough as I am. Not when I lose weight, not when I get the job, not when I fix the relationship, not when I stop being anxious or broken or confused. Now, in this breath, in this exact moment of imperfection, there will be days when you forget, when the voice of self-doubt gets louder than the whisper of your truth. And when that happens, remember this, your worth is not up for debate. Your healing is not linear. And you, just as you are a miracle in motion. The fact that you are here, that you are breathing, that you are choosing, even now, to grow, is sacred. You are not broken. You are becoming. You are not behind. You are blooming in divine time. You are not unlovable. You are learning to love the one person who has been with you through it all. You. I used to wait for someone to pick me, to say I mattered, to tell me I was enough, to give me permission to live my truth. But the waiting room of external validation is a slow death. And so one day, I stopped asking for a seat at someone else's table. I built my own, and I sat down with myself, because I realized I am my own permission slip. I no longer need to be understood by everyone. I no longer need everyone to agree. I only need to be true to myself, to what my soul knows, to what my body whispers when I'm still enough to listen. The world teaches us to hustle for love, to perform for belonging, to earn rest. But nature doesn't do that. The tree doesn't apologize for needing winter. The ocean doesn't seek applause to be majestic. The sun doesn't dim itself to make others more comfortable. Why should I? Self-love isn't the end of the journey. It's the beginning. It's the soil. From there, everything blooms. Friendship becomes real. Work becomes service. Love becomes unconditional. Because when I choose me, I stop needing to extract wholeness from others. I stop chasing what I already carry inside. It's funny how we spend so much time trying to be chosen, when the only thing that really frees us is choosing ourselves, not just once, but over and over again, in the silence of hard nights, in the ache of old wounds, in the risk of speaking our truth, in the boldness of walking away, in the softness of forgiving our own hearts. This is what healing looks like. Not glossy, not linear, but sacred and deeply human. If I could speak to the younger me, I'd say this. Stop running. You are not too much. You are not too sensitive. You are not broken. You are a miracle learning to remember her own name. And one day you will come home to yourself, and it will feel like freedom. So now I live differently. I slow down. I listen more. I rest often. I speak honestly. I stay soft, because I finally know I am not here to be everything to everyone. I am here to be everything to me. And from that place, from that overflowing well, I give, not from depletion, not from guilt, not to earn love, but because I have become love. Let this be your reminder. You are allowed to take up space. You are allowed to change your mind. You are allowed to start over. You are allowed to heal without explaining why. You are allowed to be proud of how far you've come. You are allowed to choose you. I am learning to love the sound of my feet, walking away from things not meant for me.